It's an institution in country music, the Grand Ole Opry. And it's one of our fabulous venues at this year's Cattle Industry Annual Convention. NCBA President Bill Donald had a chance to sit down with the CEO of this prestigious institution.
Hi there, I'm Bill Donald, President of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Today, I'm in the Grand Ole Opry, and I am talking with Pete Fisher, who's the General Manager of the Grand Ole Opry, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the history and some of the events that have gone on here. So, what about some of the history? A lot of history here, Pete.
Boy, there sure is. The Opry started in 1925 as the WSM Barn Dance, and it wasn't until a couple years later where it adopted the name Grand Ole Opry. And the Opry for years has been really a star-making machine for country music performers, and is really kind of the pinnacle of any country music artist's career, is to be known as a Grand Ole Opry member. We currently have a cast just under 70 Opry members, and through the history of the Opry, there's probably been close to 300 individuals that can call themselves Grand Ole Opry members. And so through the years, the Opry, really, we like to call it it's the show that made country music famous. Really, it started at the offices of the National Life and Accident Insurance Company back in 1925. Basically, National Life started a radio station to advertise its products, insurance. And so WSM Radio was the station that carries the Opry to this day, and did back in 25. WSM is a moniker after the slogan of National Life, "We Shield Millions."
Oh.
And so in a couple years later, the Grand Ole Opry name was adopted because the announcer at the time was playing music from selections largely heard from Grand Opera. And so when he was on the air, he introduced the hillbilly portion of the radio broadcast as music from the Grand Ole Opry. And so the name stuck, and people started showing up to watch this radio show. And that resulted in the Opry moving to various locations, from the National Life and Accident Insurance buildings to the Hillsborough Theater, which is now called the Belcourt Theater, to the Dixie Tabernacle, to the War Memorial Auditorium, then on to the Ryman Auditorium in 1943. And the Ryman really is known as the most famous former home of the Opry, where it played until 1974, where it came out here to the Opry House in March of '74. And so the Opry House has been the longest home of the Grand Ole Opry. And back in last year of May of 2010, the Opry House was severely impacted by the floods in Nashville, and most areas of this building had at least 4 feet of water in it. And so the Opry, the very next night, relocated to another venue and continued to do so throughout the city of Nashville for that summer. And so now we're back in this beautifully renovated Opry House, which features 18 incredibly themed dressing rooms, as this one we are in right now. We call this Wagon Master. This is where Porter Wagoner's dressing room was for many years that he was alive and performing on the Opry. And so when folks come and enjoy a backstage tour, they can see these, not only these beautifully decorated dressing rooms, but they can actually end their tour on stage of the Opry and even sing a song.
Well, that's pretty neat. It's a rich history. Ranchers enjoy that tradition and history, and that's certainly prevalent here throughout the whole Opry experience. And as we look at, we're looking out there at the stage, there's a center stage of the auditorium, and I believe there's some history behind that.
That's right, yeah. When the management moved the Grand Ole Opry from the Ryman Auditorium to the Opry House in 1974, they wanted to carry forward the tradition, and the best way to do that was to actually take some of the stage planks of wood from the Ryman stage and create a circle at center stage here at the Opry House. So when performers today perform on the Grand Ole Opry, they are literally standing in the same place where Ernest Tubb and Hank Williams and Patsy Cline once stood.
Well, that's amazing. Well, that certainly does get performers to want to be here and be part of that great tradition.
It's one of the most special performances that any country music performer will enjoy is a shot to play on the Grand Ole Opry.
Well, as we look around at some of the quotes on some of the walls from some of the performers here, you can surely see it's a highlight of their life and of their show career.
Yeah, it
One of the
truly
things
is.
that we're doing is we're going to have Cowboy at the Opry here in February. And
That's right. Yeah, Cowboy Night at the Opry on February 3rd. We're putting together a real special show for the Cattlemen's Association, and it's going to feature Country Music Hall of Famers Charlie Pride, Little Jimmy Dickens, Grand Ole Opry stars, and comedian Henry Cho, and we also might have a few other surprises for you. So we're looking
that's
forward to
great.
having everyone. It's going to be a great night.
Well, it should be, and it's going to be an exclusive night just for NCBA members, and we hope to fill this place.
Oh, well, we're looking forward to it. It'll be a great time.
It should be great. Pete, thanks so much for your hospitality. Really appreciate the tour, and we'll turn it back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, Bill. We're taking your calls right now if you'd like to join us in Nashville, Tennessee for the 2012 Cattle Industry Annual Convention and NCBA Trade Show. Also, please consider joining the NCBA as a member of the largest and oldest cattle organization. That number is 1-866-USA-BEEF. Join the thousands of members from across the country to get your voice heard and make a difference. Again, we have a team standing by ready to take your call when you call us at 1-866-USA-BEEF.